I often say while it was the most challenging thing I've ever been through, it also turned out to be quite the blessing. I'm Kyle.
I'm Rob, and I'm Kyle's dad.
All right, game on.
What one word would Kyle use to describe himself?
I got it.
What'd he put? Outstanding. I think that the word I would actually use is tenacious.
That's actually very accurate.
My battle through epilepsy, that's all I could be.
100%, very tenacious. If I'd have thought of that, I would have written that one. Yeah. He's, never the quiet one in the crowd. He's the one starting the conversation, keeping the conversation going, and he always has been.
What activity would Kyle say he loves doing the most?
Yeah.
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding, I would agree. Snowboarding has always been one of those things in life that has just been like therapy for me. There's something special about just flying down the side of a mountain as fast as you can, hoping that the little board is going to catch the snow and not allow you to fly off the mountain.
And he does fly off the mountain several times.
Does Kyle prefer to be challenged mentally or physically?
Read my mind. I knew there was a way to cheat on this question, and the word both was it. If you don't have one without the other, you're missing half the battle.
That's the deal. That is totally the deal.
What would Kyle say is the hardest thing he's been through in his life?
Epilepsy.
100% correct. There's no doubt that epilepsy brought the biggest challenge I've ever faced and taught me more about myself than anything else. I often say while it was the most challenging thing I've ever been through, it also turned out to be quite the blessing.
I don't know about the blessing part, but it was a challenge for the whole family. I can't really express it without, getting emotional about it. The only nice thing about when you were seizing, you never saw yourself seizing. It is petrifying to see it.
How old was Kyle when he had his first seizure?
18 months.
That's what they tell me.
Whenever he would get an ear infection, his temperature would spike up to 104 degrees in a matter of minutes, and he'd have a seizure. The doctors all said, it's just a febrile seizure, it'll go away. Some small percentage will get him when they're an adult. We don't think that'll happen to him. When it did happen and he was down in Durango, I'll never forget the call. We just freaked out. How did this menace come back?
At the peak of his epilepsy problem, how often was Kyle having seizures?
I would say 3 or 4 a week at the worst point. They were just coming all the time, and we were at our wits' end because he was on medication at this point, and it wasn't working, and we had no clue what was going to happen and how we were going to get through this.
It actually got worse than that. The month of July in 2017, I had a seizure every single day of that month.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
A bad month.
Kind of black some of that stuff out because it's such a dark period.
Yeah.
What would Kyle say is the personality trait that has helped him the most through this whole ordeal?
His sense of humor. It has kept him going through this whole thing, through all of us through this whole thing, that he was able to, when he wasn't seizing, he was like, well, it happened again, and we're like, oh God, it happened again.
You had to find the humor in it. I often said that if you can't laugh at epilepsy, it'll kill you. And so I tried to laugh at it.
What one word would describe Kyle's life?
No limits. He can do anything. So amazing. So amazing what he's become.
I'd agree. Big challenge, big reward.
This is so much better than what I was expecting to come down here and, Rob, tell your side of the story. I'm like, oh God, and then they start crying and all that.